Thanksgiving. Are you going home for Thanksgiving? That is my book. Thaw. The ice on the pond is beginning to thaw. He bought a house, but this is not the house he bought. I take thee at thy word. Why Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. Theft. Car thefts. There. All the furniture in their house is brand new. Theirs. The computer is theirs. Them. Their mother drove them to soccer practice. Theme. The quest for power is the underlying theme of the film. Themselves. They're getting themselves ready. Then. It was then believed the earth was flat. Theological. Theological studies arguments. Theory. A widely accepted scientific theory. Therapist. He works with a therapist to improve his speech. Therapy. He is undergoing cancer therapy. There. Put the package there on the table. Therefore. The cell phone is thin and light and therefore very convenient to carry around. Thermometer. The thermometer says it's almost 80 degrees outside, but it doesn't feel that hot. Thermostat. I set the thermostat to 68 degrees. Thesis. She wrote her thesis on Renaissance nativity scenes. They dance very well. Thick. A thick bookboard. Thicken. I thickened the gravy with flour. Thickness. The plank measures 2 inches in thickness. Thief. A car thief. Thigh. Boneless chicken thighs. Thin. Thin paper walls. Thing. What is that thing on the floor? Thingy. She was wearing one of those hair thingies. Think. It's going to be much more difficult than they think. Thinking. Form your own opinions, don't let others do your thinking for you. Third. We sat in the third row. Thirst. He quenched his thirst. Thirsty. A thirsty child. 13. 13 students. 30. The temperature outside is in the high 30s. This is my favorite t-shirt. Thorough. A thorough investigation search. Thoroughly. I thoroughly enjoyed the performance. Though it was raining, we went hiking. Thought. My first thought was that something must have changed. Thoughtful. She looked at me with a thoughtful expression. Thoughtfully. He looked at me thoughtfully. Thoughtless. Thoughtless behavior. Thousand. A 1,000. Thrash. He thrashed me with his belt. Threat. He was willing to use violence and threats to get what he wanted. Threaten. The mugger threatened him with a gun. 3. The Three of Hearts. Threshold. He stepped across the threshold. Thrift. Through hard work and thrift they sent all of their children to college. Thrill. Circus performers still thrill audiences today. Thrilled. I'm so thrilled to see you. Thriller. His latest novel is a political thriller. Thrilling. I can't imagine a more thrilling experience. Thrive. Business is thriving. Throat. My throat was dry, so I took a sip of water. Throb. Her finger throbbed with pain. Throbbing. I have a throbbing headache. Throne. The king sat on his throne. Throng. There were throngs of shoppers in the mall. Through. He hit the nail through the wood. Throughout. The company has stores throughout the United States and Canada. Throw. She threw the ball to first base. Thrust. He thrust his hands into his pockets. Thug. A gang of thugs. Thumb. A little girl sucking her thumb. Thump. Someone was thumping loudly on the door. Thunder. Her dog is afraid of thunder. Thunderstorm. There are thunderstorms in the forecast. Thursday. He was late last Thursday. Thus. The judge expressed it thus: our obligation is to discover the truth. Thwart. She did all she could to thwart his plans. Tick. The tick of a clock. Ticker. The news came over the ticker. Ticket. May I see your tickets, please? Tickle. Her little brother screamed with laughter as she tickled him. Tide. A chart of the tides. Tidy. She keeps her just tidy. Tie. His kidnappers tied him to a chair. Tier. We were seated in the theater's top tier. Tiger. He was a tiger on the basketball court. Tight. The lid is too tight, I can't loosen it. Tighten. I'll tighten the screw. Tightness. He felt some muscle tightness in his back. Tile. Decorative ceramic tiles. Till. We won't finish till next week. Tilt. Tilt the glass as you pour in the beer. Timber. They shouted timber as the tree began to fall. Time. The time passed slowly, quickly. Timer. He was the official timer for the race. Timetable. In planning for the project, you should include a list of goals and a timetable for achieving those goals. Timid. She's very timid and shy when meeting strangers. Timing. The timing of the sale could not have been better. Tin. A pie tin. Tinge. Showing a tinge of color. Tinker. He was tinkering in the garage. Tinsel. I like to decorate the Christmas tree with tinsel. Tint. A photo with a sepia tint. Tiny. A tiny baby bird. Tip. She tipped her head to the left. Tiptoe. She tiptoed through the puddle. Tire. I tired long before the race was over. Tired. I was really tired after the long trip. Tireless. He's a tireless worker. Tiring. The work was very tiring. Tissue. A box of tissues. Titanic. They put up a titanic struggle. Title. What was the title of that book you were reading last week? 2. I like to swim. Toad. He's such a mean little toad. Toast. A piece of toast. Tobacco. A farm that grows tobacco. Today. Is today a holiday? Toe. He felt the sand grass between his toes. Together. They went to the party together. Toil. Days of toil and sweat. Toilet. Flush the toilet. Token. A bus subway token. Tolerable. The heat was tolerable for only a short time. Tolerance. Religious tolerance. Tolerate. Our teacher will not tolerate bad grammar. Toll. We had to stop to pay the toll. Tomato. Crushed tomatoes. Tomb. The tomb of Alexander the Great. Tomorrow. Tomorrow is a school day. Ton. I still have a ton to do before the guests arrive. Tone. She spoke in a sharp tone. Tongs. I salad tongs. Tongue. The cow ran its tongue over its lips. Tonic. Gin and tonic. Tonight. Tonight will be rainy. Tonsil. He had his tonsils out when he was 10. 2. We are selling the house and the furniture too. Tool. Carpentry garden tools. Tooth. The dentist will have to pull that tooth. Toothpaste. A tube of toothpaste. Top. The tops of the walls are painted and the bottoms are covered in wood paneling. Topic. He is comfortable discussing a wide range of topics. Topless. Topless dancers. Top-notch. The hotel offers top-notch service. Topography. The map shows the topography of the island. Topple. The strong winds toppled many trees. Torch. The Olympic torch. Torment. She lived in torment for the rest of her life. Torrent. The storm turned the stream into a raging torrent. Torture. The torture of prisoners. Toss. I tossed the ball to him. Total. Total chaos, destruction, ruin. Totally. I'm totally against it. Tote. She's been toting that bag all day. Touch. Please do not touch the statue. Touchdown. He scored a touchdown. Touching. Their story was deeply very touching. Touchy. Don't be so touchy, I was just kidding. Tough. A tough assignment problem. Toughen. The government is toughening anti-drug laws. Tour. We went on a tour of Italy. Tourist. The museums attract a lot of tourists. Tournament. A basketball golf tournament. Tow. The car was towed to the nearest garage after the accident. Toward. The bus is heading toward town. Towel. She dried her hair with a towel. Town. A town in Georgia. Toxic. A toxic substance compound. Toy. Please put away your toys. Trace. He could detect a trace of cinnamon in the cookies. Track. Moose tire tracks. Traction. These tires get good traction on wet roads. Trade. Foreign international trade. Trademark. Kleenex is a registered trademark. Trading. Trading was slow at the stock market today. Tradition. Cultural traditions. Traditional. It is traditional to eat turkey and cranberry sauce on Thanksgiving. Traditionally. She thinks too traditionally for my taste. Traffic. Let's leave early to avoid rush hour traffic. Serenity. A feeling of peace and serenity. Serial. The pictures are numbered and arranged in serial order. Series. The summer concert series at the park. Serious. A serious injury illness condition. Seriously. No one was seriously injured in the accident. Sermon. He preached, delivered, gave a sermon on the importance of kindness. Serum. Blood serum. Servant. Domestic household servants. Serve. Soup was served as a first course. Server. She asked her server for another glass of wine. Service. The National Park Service. Serving. The recipe makes 4 servings of rice and beans. Sesame. Sesame seeds. Session. A practice session. Set. Set your books on the table. Setback. Despite some early setbacks, they eventually become a successful company. Settle. They were determined to settle the dispute argument before going home for the day. Settled. Settled peoples. Settlement. I got the house in the divorce settlement. Set up. An online account set up. 7. The Seven of Hearts. 17. They lived together for 17 years. 7th. I'll be flying in on the 7th. 70. A salary in the low 70s. Sever. He severed the lowest tree limbs. Several. It took several days, weeks for the package to arrive. Severe. Severe weather conditions. Severely. The accident has severely limited her mobility. Sew. She sews her own dresses by hand. Sewer. A sewer pipe. Sewing. She enjoys sewing. Sex. The form asks for your name, age, and sex. Sexist. Many people thought the ad was sexist. Sexual. Sexual activity, reproduction. Sexuality. She is comfortable with her sexuality. Sexually. The movie has some sexually explicit scenes. Sexy. She wore a sexy skirt. The baby is sleeping. Shabby. The furniture was old and shabby. Shack. An old shack in the woods. Shackle. The prisoner was placed in shackles. Shade. The buildings cast shade on the plaza. Shadow. The tree cast threw a long shadow across the lawn. Shady. A shady tree. Shaft. The shaft of a spear. Shaggy. Shaggy hair. Shake. The ground shook during the earthquake. Shaky. I was so nervous that my hands were shaky. Shall. We shall arrive tomorrow evening. Shallow. A shallow dish pond grave. Sham. He claims that the trial was a sham. Shambles. The city was a shambles after the hurricane. Shame. He felt shame for his lies. Shameless. The actor made a shameless plug for his movie. Shamelessly. He shamelessly gave himself a raise. Shampoo. A bottle of shampoo. Shape. Circles, squares, triangles, and other geometric shapes. Shapely. She has a shapely figure. Share. We share a house car. Shark. A pool shark. Sharp. A sharp knife pencil. Sharply. He spoke sharply to the children and made them cry. Sharpness. It's 4 o'clock sharp. Shatter. The window shattered when it was hit by a rock. Shave. He shaves himself every morning before breakfast. She. She's my mother. Shear. The farmers sheared the sheep. Sheath. He sheathed his sword. Shed. I've been trying to shed some extra pounds. Sheen. Her hair has a sheen to it. Sheep. A flock of sheep. Sheepishly. She grinned at us sheepishly. Sheer. The sheer amount of work was staggering. Sheet. We used sheets to protect the furniture when we painted. Shelf. Put the vase on the shelf. Shelling. The town sustained weeks of heavy shelling. Shelter. A bomb fallout shelter. Shepherd. He was a good shepherd to new students. Shield. The heat shield on a space shuttle. Shift. I shifted the bag to my other shoulder. Shimmer. The road shimmered in the heat. Shin. She kicked him in the shin. Shindig. An informal shindig. Shine. The moon stars shine brightly. Shingle. Shingle a house roof. Shiny. Shiny black shoes. Ship. A sailing cruise merchant ship. Shipment. We send out another shipment of books. Shipping. The fruit was ready for shipping. Shipwreck. Only a few sailors survived the shipwreck. Shit. Don't give me that shit. Shiver. It was so cold that I was shivering. Shock. If you haven't been there for a while, prepare yourself for a shock. The place has changed a lot. Shockingly. The movie was shockingly violent. Shoe. She bought a pair of shoes. Shoot. Does this gun shoot accurately? Shooter. The police are looking for the shooter. Shop. A gift sandwich donut flower shop. Shoplifting. She was arrested for shoplifting. Shopping. We do grocery shopping once a week equals we go grocery shopping once a week. Shore. A rocky sandy shore. Short. Her hair is short. Shortage. A gasoline water shortage. Shortcut. Wait, I know a shortcut. Turn left here. Shortly. They should arrive shortly. Shortness. One symptom is shortness of breath. Shot. 2 shots were heard. Should. You should get some rest. Shoulder. He rested the baby's head on his shoulder. Shout. Protesters shouted insults as city officials passed by. Shove. He shoved the door until it finally opened. Shovel. He is outside shoveling snow. Show. He showed her a picture. Shower. My hotel room had a shower but no bathtub. Showing. The movie's last showing tonight is at 10:30. Shrapnel. He has a piece of shrapnel in his leg. Shred. The cats ripped the curtain to shreds. Shriek. The birds were shrieking in the trees. Shrill. A shrill whistle scream. Shrimp. He's a little shrimp of a boy. Shrine. A Buddha shrine. Shrink. The sweater shrank when it was washed. Shrivel. Plants shriveling in the heat. Shrug. I asked if he wanted to go out to dinner and he just shrugged. Shudder. He shuddered with fear when he heard the scream. Shuffle. He shuffled across the floor. Shun. He shuns parties and social events. Shut. Please shut the door window lid drawer. Shutout. They beat us in a 9-0 shutout. Shutter. She opened the shutters. Shuttle. A shuttle takes people from the parking lot to the airport. Shy. A shy, quiet girl. Shyness. The horse shied when the gun went off. Sibling. Do you have any siblings? Sick. He is at home sick in bed. Sickly. A sickly child. Sickness. She missed work due to sickness. Side. The army was attacked from all sides. Sideline. We stood on the sidelines to watch the game. Sidestep. She sidestepped the puddle. Sidewalk. Bicycles are not allowed on the sidewalk. Sideways. We had to turn sideways to let them through the crowded hallway. Sidle. He sidled up to me and slipped me a note. Siege. The siege of Paris. Sieve. She sieved the flour into a mixing bowl. Sift. Sift the flour into a mixing bowl. Sigh. He sighed within relief when he saw that he passed the test. Sight. Your sight weakens as you get older. Sightseeing. We spent the afternoon sightseeing. Sign. The sign in the store window says open. Signal. The change in his behavior is clearly a signal that there is a problem. Signature. There is a place for your signature at the bottom of the form. Significance. The discovery has great significance to researchers. Significant. A significant number of customers complained about the service. Significantly. People who smoke have a significantly greater risk of developing lung cancer than people who don't. Signify. Black clothing signifies mourning. Signing. The signing of the Declaration of Independence. Silence. I find it hard to sleep unless there is complete silence. Silent. She was silent for a few minutes as she thought about how to answer him. Silently. The tiger moved silently through the jungle. Silk. Silks from China. Silliness. The silliness of the whole idea. Silly. I hope I didn't make any silly mistakes. Silver. A bracelet made of silver. Similar. Our cats are similar in size, color, appearance. Similarly. My friend and I were similarly affected by the new tax law. Simple. A simple task. Simplify. Microwave ovens have simplified cooking. Venom. She spoke of him with venom in her voice. Venomous. The cobra is a venomous snake. Vent. Windows should be open to vent the fumes. Ventilator. The patient was put on a ventilator. Venture. We ventured out into the woods. Venue. A sports venue. Veracity. We question the veracity of his statements. Verbal. The job requires someone with strong verbal skills. Verbally. They agreed verbally to the deal. Verdant. The fields were verdant. Verdict. The verdict was not guilty. Verge. A grassy verge. Verification. He received verification of the deposit from the bank. Verify. We could not verify the rumor. Veritable. The island is a veritable paradise. Versatile. She is a versatile athlete who participates in many different sports. Verse. The epic tale was written in verse. Version. Let me tell you my version of what happened. Versus. It's Smith versus Jones in the title fight. Vertical. A vertical line. Vertically. The cliff rose vertically to the sky. Vertigo. Heights give me vertigo. Very. A very hot day. Vessel. A fishing sailing vessel. Vest. A bulletproof vest. Vestige. A vestige of an ancient tradition. Vet. I have to take my dog to the vet. Veteran. A Navy veteran. Veto. A legislative veto. Vex. This problem has vexed researchers for years. Vexation. He grumbled in vexation. Via. She flew to Los Angeles via Chicago. Viable. A viable solution to the problem. Vibe. I got a weird vibe from her. Vibrant. She has a vibrant personality. Vibrate. The engine was vibrating. Vice. Such men are prone to vice. Vicinity. She lives in Los Angeles or somewhere in that vicinity. Vicious. A vicious attack battle. Viciously. He lashed out viciously at his critics. Victim. A victim of abuse violence. Victory. The general led the troops to victory. Video. We're going to rent a couple of videos to watch this weekend. Videotape. I watched the movie on videotape. View. What are your political views? Viewer. The program attracts millions of viewers every week. Viewpoint. The story is told from the viewpoint of someone who grew up during the Great Depression. Vigilance. The situation requires constant vigilance. Vigor. She defended her beliefs with great vigor. Vigorous. She remained vigorous into her 90s. Vigorously. She vigorously defended her beliefs. Vile. Vile terrorist attacks. Villa. They rented a seaside villa for 2 weeks. Village. Fishing mining villages. Villain. Comic book heroes and villains. Vindictive. He became bitter and vindictive after his divorce. Vintage. The restaurant has a fine selection of vintage wines. Violate. Students who violate the rules will be punished. Violation. A serious violation of the law. Violator. Violators will be prosecuted. Violence. An act of violence. Violent. They witnessed a violent struggle between police and protesters. Violently. They are violently opposed to the proposal. Violet. She has violet eyes. VIP. I was treated like a VIP at the reception. Virgin. A political virgin. Virginity. He lost his virginity when he was in college. Virtual. The country is ruled by a virtual dictator. Virtually. We spent virtually all day shopping. Virtue. I urge you all to lead lives of virtue. Virtuoso. He's a real virtuoso in the kitchen. Virus. The AIDS virus. Visa. A work student visa. Visibility. Joggers should wear light-colored clothes to increase their visibility. Visible. The ship was not visible through the fog. Vision. She has good poor vision. Visionary. She is known as a visionary leader. Visit. She is visiting her aunt in New York. Visitation. Supervised visitation. Visiting. A visiting teacher professor. Visitor. We're expecting visitors. Vista. Colorful mountain vistas. Visual. A visual impairment. Vital. These matters are vital to national defense. Vitamin. This cereal contains essential vitamins and minerals. Vivacious. She has a vivacious personality. Vivid. He gave a vivid description of the scene. Vocabulary. The basic vocabulary of English. Vocal. Vocal sounds. Vogue. The latest vogues. Voice. He has a deep voice. Void. The contract is void. Volatile. The stock market can be very volatile. Volcano. The volcano last erupted 25 years ago. Volume. The volume is too loud. Voluntarily. Her confession was made voluntarily. Voluntary. A voluntary agreement decision. Volunteer. Volunteers are needed to help with a bake sale. Vomit. I feel like I am going to vomit, throw up. Voracious. A voracious eater-predator. Vortex. He was caught in a swirling vortex of terror. Vote. Citizens will vote today for their new governor. Voting. Voting was heavy in the 5th precinct. Vow. The monks take a vow of silence, chastity, poverty. Voyage. The Titanic sank on her maiden voyage. Vulgar. He was a vulgar man. Vulnerable. A vulnerable young woman. Vulture. As soon as they learned of his arrest, the media vultures started circling. Wad. Wads of crumpled paper littered the floor. Waddle. He waddled down the hallway. Wade. We waded into the ocean. Waffle. He had waffles for breakfast. Wag. The dog wagged its tail. Wage. A wage of $14 an hour. Wager. He has a wager on the game. Wagon. Pioneers crossed the American Midwest in wagons. Wail. The child started wailing after she stumbled and fell. Waist. He has a narrow waist and broad shoulders. Wait. I hate waiting in long lines. Waitress. She waitressed while going to college. Wave. She waved her right to a lawyer. Wake. The sound of children shouting woke me. Walk. Is your grandson walking yet? Walker. She joined a group of walkers in the neighborhood. Walking. Walking is good exercise. Wall. A stone wall marks off their property. Wallet. She paid the bill and tucked her wallet back into her pocket purse. Wallow. Wallowing in luxury. Wallpaper. They hung wallpaper in the bedroom. Walnut. The banana bread has walnuts in it. Waltz. They danced a waltz together. Wan. A wan complexion. Wand. A magic wand. Wander. I was just wandering around the house. Wandering. A wandering stream road. Wane. The moon waxes and then wanes. Want. Do you want more coffee? War. They fought a war over the disputed territory. Ward. She works in the cancer maternity psychiatric ward. Warden. The warden of the cemetery. Wardrobe. She has a new summer wardrobe. Warfare. Guerrilla warfare. Warily. They looked at each other warily. Warm. Be sure to keep warm when you go outside. Warmer. A bun warmer. Warming. The warming of air currents affects weather patterns. Warmly. They greeted us warmly. Warmth. I could feel the warmth of the fireplace. Warned. I had been warned about the difficulties of the job. Warning. She gave me a warning about the difficulties of the job. Warp. The wood was warped by moisture. Warrant. The police had a warrant for his arrest. Warranty. The stereo came with a 3-year warranty. Warrior. A proud and brave warrior. Wary. The store owner kept a wary eye on him. Wash. Wash clothes. Washing. These shirts will look great even after repeated washings. Waste. The current system causes a lot of waste. Watch. They have a rookie on the team who is fun to watch. Watcher. A TV watcher. Watchful. We need to be more watchful of our children. Water. Would you like a glass of water? Waterfowl. The lake is a refuge for migrating waterfowl. Waterfront. They have evening concerts on the waterfront. Watery. The pollen caused her eyes to become watery. Wave. We waved to our friends through the window. Wavelength. Light and sound have different wavelengths. Wavy. She has wavy blonde hair. Wax. A variety of floor waxes. Way. I like the way she looks, dresses, laughs. Wayside. Flowers grew along the wayside. We had a party at work. Weak. He has a weak throwing arm. Weaken. The disease weakens the immune system. Weakly. He smiled weakly at me. Weakness. Muscle weakness. Wealth. A nation family that has acquired great wealth. Wealthy. He is a wealthy entrepreneur. Wean. The calves are weaned at an early age. Weapon. Assault with a deadly weapon. Wear. He was wearing blue jeans. Wearily. It's almost over, she said wearily. Weariness. His weariness showed in his face. Weary. I need to rest my weary eyes. Weasel. He's a lying weasel. Weather. How's the weather? Weave. She weaves cloth on her loom. Weaver. A weaver of blankets. Web. I spent the afternoon surfing the web. Wed. They will wed in the fall. Wedding. The wedding will be at 2 p.m. Wedge. He used a wedge to split the firewood. Wednesday. I had lunch with her last Wednesday. Wee. He's just a wee lad. Weed. We pulled weeds from the garden. Week. The last week of the month. Weekend. What are you doing this weekend? Weekly. I make weekly trips to the grocery store. Weep. He wept at the news of her death. Weigh. She weighs herself every morning. Weight. Please indicate your height and weight on the form. Weighty. She grabbed a weighty book off the shelf. Weird. She listens to some really weird music. Welcome. Welcome to America. Welcoming. The hotel staff is very welcoming. Weld. She learned how to weld. Welfare. He wants to do away with welfare. Well. How did everything go? It went well, thank you. Well-dressed. He is a well-dressed man. Wellness. Daily exercise is proven to promote wellness. Well-off. Her family is extremely well-off. West. There's a beautiful pond to the west of the trail. Westward. The settlers moved westward. Wet. A pile of wet clothes towels leaves. Whack. She whacked the piñata with a stick. Wham. Wham. The wind slammed the door shut. What? What is your name? Whatever. Say whatever you want. My opinion won't change. Whatsoever. There's no evidence whatsoever to support your theory. Wheat. A turkey sandwich on wheat. Wheel. The car's rear wheels started to spin on the icy road. Wheelchair. He was in a wheelchair for several months after the accident. Wheeze. He was up all night hacking and wheezing. When? When will you return? Whence? They returned to the land whence they came. Whenever. You may leave whenever you wish. Where? Where are my keys? Whereabouts? Whereabouts does he live? Whereas. Some of these species have flourished, whereas others have struggled. Whereby. They created a program whereby single parents could receive greater financial aid. Wherever. Wherever have you been? Wet. We had some wine to whet our appetites. Whether. Did you ask whether they were going? Which. He knew which people had paid and which hadn't. Ripple. Water rippled under the dock. Rise. Smoke was rising into the air. Rising. He was the leader of an armed rising against the elected government. Risk. I prefer not to expose my money to too much risk. Risky. The proposal seems risky. Rite. Incense is often burned in the religious rites. Ritual. A religious ritual. Rival. The teams have been longtime rivals. River. The Mississippi River. Rivet. I was riveted by her story. Road. A paved gravel dirt road. Roadblock. That's the one roadblock to the plan. Roadside. A hamburger stand on by at the roadside. Roadway. Police cleared the roadway for the parade. Roam. The cattle roamed in search of water. Roar. We heard a lion roar in the distance. Roast. He roasted the chicken. Rob. Someone tried to rob me. Robber. The store was held up by a gang of robbers. Robbery. A series of armed robberies. Robe. The priest wore a purple robe. Robot. A talking toy robot. Robust. Robust young men and women. Rock. She gently rocked the baby to sleep. Rocket. A car powered by a rocket. Rocky. The soil is very rocky. Rod. A curtain rod. Row. Salmon row. Rogue. A line rogue. Role. He plays the role of the villain. Role-playing. We do a lot of role-playing in this class. Roll. The children roll down the hill. Roller. The rollers of a conveyor belt. Rolling. Rolling hills prairies. Roman. The type should be set in Roman. Romance. They had a brief romance when they were younger. Romantic. She had romantic feelings for him. Romp. The dogs love a good romp through the woods. Roof. A shingle slate tile roof. Rookie. There are 3 rookies in the starting lineup. Room. Cigarette smoke filled the room. Roommate. She was my college roommate. Roomy. The car was roomy inside. Roost. Pigeons roost on the building's ledge. Rooster. We heard the crow of a rooster. Root. Elm trees have shallow roots. Rope. Tie the end of the rope to the post. Rose. A bouquet of roses. Roster. His name has been added to the team roster. Rosy. Rosy cheeks peaches. Rot. The wood had rotted away. Rotate. As the gear rotates, it turns the other gears. Rotten. Rotten wood. Rotund. A rotund face. Rouge. She was wearing too much rouge. Rough. Rough tree bark. Roughly. Roughly translated, it means hurry up. Round. The earth is round. Roundabout. He took a roundabout route to town. Rouse. He was roused by a loud crash. Rousing. She was met with a rousing reception. Route. We didn't know what route to take. Follow. Routine. Grandma gets upset if we change a routine. Rove. We roved around town Europe. Row. Rows of corn. Rowing. She was on the rowing team. Royal. The royal family household palace. Royalty. It was an honor and a privilege to dine with royalty. Rub. Could you rub my shoulders? Rubber. Tires made of rubber. Rubbery. The hard-boiled eggs were tough and rubbery. Rubbish. Please pick the rubbish up off the ground. Ruby. Diamonds and rubies. Rude. He made rude remarks. Gestures. Rudimentary. This class requires a rudimentary knowledge of human anatomy. Ruffian. A gang of ruffians. Ruffle. Her hair was ruffled by the wind. Rug. I accidentally spilled wine on the rug. Ruin. Moth ruined the sweater. Ruined. Ruined buildings. Ruinous. Smoking is ruinous, dangerous, hazardous to your health. Rule. I understand the basic rules of chess. Ruler. A summit attended by a number of rulers from around the world. Ruling. The decision overturns the Supreme Court's earlier ruling. Rum. A bottled glass of rum. Rumble. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Rummage. He rummaged through the attic for his baseball card collection. Run. How fast can you run? Runaway. Teenage runaways. Run-in. He had a run-in with the cops. Runner. A long-distance cross-country marathon runner. Running. He took up running for exercise. Runny. The scrambled eggs are runny. Rural. She lives in a rural area. Ruse. His act was just a clever ruse to get me to go out with him. Rush. Firefighters rushed to the accident scene. Rusher. He was the team's leading rusher last year. Russian. Russian food literature. Rust. An old pump covered in rust. Rustic. The inn has a rustic atmosphere. Rustle. The trees rustled in the wind. Rusty. A rusty old car. Rut. The truck left deep ruts in the muddy ground. Ruthless. A ruthless killer. Rye. A ham sandwich on rye. Sable. A brush coat made of sable. Sabotage. Angry workers were responsible for the sabotage of the machines. Sack. A sack containing flour. Sacrament. They stood in line to receive the sacrament. Sacred. A sacred shrine. Sacrifice. The war required everyone to make sacrifices. Sad. He's feeling sad because his pet died. Sadden. It saddens me that we could not agree. Saddle. He saddled his horse and mounted it. Sadly. She shook her head sadly. Sadness. I felt a deep sadness upon hearing the news. Safari. He went on a safari in Africa last year. Safe. I don't feel safe in this neighborhood. Safeguard. The new law has safeguards to protect the rights of citizens. Safely. Be sure to drive safely. Safety. The changes were made in the interest of public safety. Sag. The roof is sagging in the middle. Sagacious. A sagacious old man. Sage. Sage advice. Said. The following is a description of how said property is divided. Sail. Sail across on over the sea ocean. Sailing. She likes sailing. Sailor. He worked as a sailor on a cargo ship. Saint. He was declared a saint in the 5th century. Sake. Please do it for her sake. Salad. For dinner we had roast chicken and a salad. Salary. She was offered a salary of $50,000 a year. Sale. They profited from the sale of the house. Salesman. A car salesman. Salesperson. The company is hiring new salespeople. Sally. A witty sally. Salon. A hair tanning nail salon. Salt. This soup needs a little more salt. Salted. Cook the pasta in boiling salted water. Salty. Salty foods. Salutation. A handshake and saying hello are common salutations. Salute. He saluted the officer. Salvage. The ship was beyond salvage. Salvation. Pray for salvation. Sane. He has lived in the same city all his life. Sample. A bloodwater soil sample. Sanctify. The priests sanctify their marriage. Sanctuary. Wildlife bird sanctuaries. Sand. The beaches are covered with pinkish sand. Sandwich. I had a ham sandwich for lunch. Sandy. The soil in my garden is very sandy. Sane. He is perfectly sane. Sanitary. Sanitary laws. Sanitation. Diseases can spread from poor sanitation. Sanity. People have begun to doubt his sanity. Sap. Sap is taken from maple trees to make syrup. Sarcasm. Biting dry sarcasm. Sarcastic. A sarcastic person remark reply. Sardonic. The movie is a sardonic look at modern life. Satellite. Satellites help meteorologists predict the weather. Satin. A dress made of satin. Satire. His movies are known for their use of satire. Satisfaction. He derives great satisfaction from volunteering. Satisfactorily. They performed satisfactorily on the exam. Satisfactory. The job requires a satisfactory level of performance. Satisfy. His job satisfies him. Saturate. Saturate the sponge with water. Saturday. They left last Saturday. Sauce. A delicious spaghetti meat sauce. Sauna. The health club has a pool and a sauna. Saunter. They sauntered slowly down the street. Sausage. Would you like some sausage? Sauté. Sauté the onion and garlic. Savage. Savage beasts. Underworld. The criminal underworld. Undo. Undo a belt button zipper. Undone. My shoelace is undone. Undoubtedly. She was undoubtedly one of the best athletes in the school. Undress. She undressed and climbed into bed. Unease. A feeling of unease came over her. Uneasily. She looked around uneasily. Uneasy. Rain made the crew uneasy. Unemployed. Unemployed workers. Unemployment. My unemployment lasted about 6 months. Unequal. Unequal academic standards for male and female students. Unequivocally. She refused unequivocally. Unethical. Unethical behavior methods. Uneven. Large uneven teeth. Unexpected. Unexpected consequences results. Unexpectedly. Sales were unexpectedly high this month. Unfair. An unfair trial. Unfairly. They treated her unfairly. Unfaithful. An unfaithful husband. Unfamiliar. He gets nervous when he is in unfamiliar surroundings. Unfinished. An unfinished building play sentence. Unfit. The movie is unfit for children. Unforgivable. An unforgivable crime sin. Unfortunate. She was unfortunate enough to have been chosen as an example. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, we didn't finish on time. Unfriendly. Unfriendly people. Unfurl. They unfurled the sails. Ungrateful. An ungrateful child. Unhappily. They were unhappily married for 2 years. Unhappy. I can see that he's unhappy, but I don't know why. Unharmed. They escaped from the fire unharmed. Unhealthy. An unhealthy liver. Unhook. He unhooked the fish from the line. Unidentified. Police said that an unidentified person saved the boy from drowning. Uniform. A school police baseball uniform. Unintentionally. He unintentionally stepped on my foot. Uninterested. She seemed uninterested in our problems. Uninvited. She showed up uninvited. Union. She joined the teachers' union. Unique. The shape of each and every snowflake is unique. Uniquely. Her sense of humor is uniquely her own. Unit. The family is the basic unit of society. Unite. Party members united in support of their candidate. United. A united campaign against drug abuse. Universal. Universal human emotions. Universe. How many stars are there in the universe? University. I applied to several public-private universities. Unjust. The convict received an unjust sentence. Unkind. An unkind remark. Unknown. A disease of unknown cause origin. Unlawful. The sale of alcohol to minors is unlawful. Unleash. The storm unleashed its fury. Unless. He will fail the course unless he gets a 90 on the exam. Unlike. The plants that grow here are unlike the plants that grow where I live. Unlikely. It is unlikely that the company will survive more than another year. Unlimited. Membership gives you unlimited access to the facilities. Unload. It took 4 hours to unload the truck. Unlock. Could you unlock the door for me? Unmask. He was unmasked as a spy. Unmistakable. The evidence is unmistakable. Unmistakably. Her art is unmistakably modern. Unnatural. It seems unnatural to keep the bird in a cage. Unnecessarily. These new rules are unnecessarily complex. Unnecessary. In the city, owning a car is unnecessary. Unnerve. Seeing the police in there unnerved me. Unnoticed. He walked into the restaurant unnoticed. Unofficial. This song is the college's unofficial anthem. Unpack. It's been a year since I moved here and I still haven't unpacked all of my books. Unpleasant. I stopped taking the drug because of its unpleasant side effects. Unplugged. The band's latest album was unplugged. Unpopular. I was unpopular in high school. Unpredictable. The weather has been completely unpredictable lately. Unprepared. She was unprepared for the test. Unpretentious. He's easygoing and unpretentious. Unproductive. The talks were unproductive. Unprofessional. She was accused of unprofessional conduct. Unqualified. He is clearly unqualified for the job. Unquestionably. This book is unquestionably a masterpiece. Unreal. The town seemed as unreal as a movie set. Unreasonable. I told him that I wouldn't pay unless he sent me a replacement. Am I being unreasonable? Unremarkable. I've led an unremarkable life. Unrest. The country has experienced years of civil, social, political unrest. Unruly. Unruly children. Unsafe. It's unsafe to send cash through the mail. Unsatisfactory. He was fired for unsatisfactory performance. Unsavory. He is an unsavory character. Unseat. He unseated an incumbent senator. Unsettle. Such a sudden change will unsettle her. Unsettled. Unsettled investors. Unspeakable. The unspeakable horror of war. Unstable. Unstable prices. Unsuccessful. The operation was unsuccessful. Unsuccessfully. They tried unsuccessfully to change his mind. Unsuitable. She is an unsuitable candidate for the job. Untangle. He untangled the ropes. Untidy. His room was untidy. Untie. She untied her shoes. Until. I stayed until morning. Untouched. The piano was untouched for years. Untrue. The allegations are untrue. Unusual. Unusual occurrences behavior. Unwanted. Unwanted attention. Unwarranted. Your anger is unwarranted. Unwavering. He has my unwavering support. Unwilling. The witness was unwilling to cooperate. Unwind. She unwound some thread from the spool. Unwitting. He kept the truth from his unwitting friends. Unwittingly. She unwittingly offended the hostess. Unworthy. I'm unworthy. Unwrap. He unwrapped the gift. Unwritten. They had an unwritten agreement. Unzip. He unzipped his jacket. Up. The land rises up from the valley. Upbeat. I like a story with an upbeat ending. Upbringing. My wife had a very sheltered upbringing. Upcoming. The upcoming election holiday. Update. I need to update my address book. Upfront. I have been very upfront with you. Upgrade. This course will help you to upgrade your computer skills. Uphill. It is easier to ride a bicycle downhill than uphill. Uphold. He took an oath to uphold the Constitution. Upon. He carefully placed the vase upon the table. Upper. The tree's upper branches. Upright. An upright posture. Uprising. An armed uprising. Upset. I was feeling upset by about the whole experience. Upsetting. It was a very upsetting situation. Upside. One upside to the new house is its location. Upside down. That flag is upside down. Upstairs. When you go upstairs, bring these towels with you. Upstanding. Upstanding members of the community. Upstate. She's from upstate. Upswing. Business is on the upswing. Uptide. If our flight is delayed, there's nothing we can do. There's no reason to get so uptight about it. Up to date. Up to date maps. Uptown. They took a taxi from uptown to downtown. Upward. The road gradually rose upward. Urban. Urban life culture. Urge. He is continually urging reform. Urgent. An urgent need for food reform. Urn. A coffee urn. Us. It was nice of you to invite us. Usage. Seatbelt usage in this state is now mandatory. Use. I need to use the phone when you're done. Used. A used tissue. Useful. A useful invention tool skill. Useless. A dull, useless knife. User. Computer users. Usher. He ushered them to their seats. Usual. She charges less than the usual fee. Usually. It's usually hotter than this in June. Utmost. This is a matter of the utmost importance, urgency. Utter. It's hard to believe that we were utter strangers just a few days ago. Utterly. The two cities are utterly different. Vacancy. School administrators are trying to fill vacancies before the beginning of the school year. Vacant. These locker seats are all vacant. Vacation. We had a restful vacation at the beach. Vaccination. An oral vaccination. Vaccine. The polio vaccine. Vacuum. The vacuum of outer space. Vague. The instructions she left were vague and difficult to follow. Vaguely. There was something vaguely disturbing about the whole incident. Vain. She is very vain about her appearance. Valet. I had my car valeted. Valiant. A valiant soldier. Valid. A valid argument. Validate. The court validated the contract. Valley. The Shenandoah Valley. Valuable. Valuable antiques artwork. Value. The company's stock continues to decline, decrease, drop in value. Valued. We wish to thank our valued customers. Valve. They turned off the main water valve to the house. Van. A delivery van. Vandal. Vandals deface the school's walls. Vandalism. Acts of theft and vandalism. Vane. The vanes of a windmill. Vanilla. The frosting is flavored with vanilla. Vanish. My keys mysteriously vanished. Vanity. The handsome actor's vanity was well known. Vanquish. They were vanquished in battle. Vaporize. Heat is used to vaporize the liquid. Variable. The winds were light and variable. Variance. There was some variance in the results. Variation. Color temperature variations. Variety. The talks covered a great variety of topics. Various. Various bands will be performing at the concert. Varnish. Floor varnish. Varsity. She's trying to make varsity this year. Vary. The terrain varies as you climb higher. Vase. A beautiful Chinese vase. Vastly. They vastly increase spending. Vault. They gazed up at the vault of the cathedral. Veal. Cuts of veal. Veer. The ship veered away to the north. Vegetarian. A vegetarian diet meal menu. Vehemence. She spoke with some vehemence about the need for new safety measures. Vehemently. They argued vehemently against the proposal. Vehicle. Cars, trucks, and other vehicles. Veil. A bridal veil. Velocity. Particles moving at high velocities. Velvet. She was dressed in black velvet. Vengeance. The fire was set as an act of vengeance. Survey. The survey found revealed some surprising tendencies among the population. Survival. The refugees depend on foreign aid for their survival. Survive. I don't see how any creature can survive under those conditions. Surviving. His son is his sole surviving heir. Survivor. She interviewed survivors of the flood. Susceptible. The virus can infect susceptible individuals. Suspect. He's suspected in 4 burglaries. Suspected. The pesticide is a suspected carcinogen. Suspend. He was suspended from the team for missing too many practices. Suspense. I can't bear stand the suspense. Suspension. He was angry about his suspension from the team. Suspicion. Her strange behavior has aroused suspicion. Suspicious. We were instructed to report any suspicious activity behavior in the neighborhood. Suspiciously. The security guard stared at us suspiciously. Sustain. There is not enough oxygen to sustain life at very high altitudes. Swallow. He swallowed the grape whole. Swamp. The area is mostly swamp. Swan. She's always swanning off to some exotic locale. Swap. He swapped his cupcake for a candy bar. Swarm. A swarm of bees, mosquitoes, ants, locusts. Swarthy. A swarthy man complexion. Swat. She swatted the fly with a magazine. Sway. Branches swaying in the breeze. Swear. I swear I was there. Sweat. He sweats a lot when he exercises. Sweaty. Sweaty work. Sweep. He swept the dirt off the driveway. Sweet. Sweet dishes, foods. Sweeten. She sweetened her coffee. Sweetheart. Childhood college sweethearts. Sweetie. My sweetie and I will be at the party. Sweetly. He asked sweetly if she was all right. Sweetness. I like the sweetness of the sauce. Swell. Her broken ankle swelled badly. Swelling. There was a swelling above her eye. Swerve. The car swerved sharply to avoid hitting the deer. Swift. A swift and accurate response. Swiftly. He answered swiftly. Swim. He's teaching the children to swim. Swimming. Swimming keeps her fit. Swindle. He swindled elderly women out of their savings. Swine. Methods of raising swine. Swing. The sheet swung on the clothesline. Swinging. This music is really swinging. Swipe. The cat swiped the dog across the nose. Swirl. She swirled the drink in her glass. Swiss. Swiss history. Switch. She flicked a switch and turned the lamp lights on. Swivel. The gun was mounted on a swivel. Swollen. A swollen river. Swoop. A hog swooped down and caught a rabbit in the field. Sworn. He's a sworn conservative. Syllable. The word doctor has 2 syllables. Symbolic. The lighting of the candles is symbolic. Symbolize. The lion symbolizes courage. Symmetrical. The human body is symmetrical. Sympathetic. He received much help from sympathetic friends. Sympathetically. The character was treated sympathetically. Sympathize. I sympathize, but how can I help? Sympathy. She went to her best friend for sympathy. Symptom. Cold flu symptoms. Synchronize. They synchronize their watches. Syndicate. A syndicate owns the company. Syndrome. A rare syndrome. Synonym. Small and little are synonyms. Synthesis. The band sound is a synthesis of jazz and rock music. Synthesizer. The band used a synthesizer for the drum beat. Syrup. A medicinal syrup. System. A system of rivers. Systematically. We approach the problem systematically. Table. They were sitting at around the dining dinner table. Tablet. An ancient stone tablet. Tabloid. She is used to seeing her name in the tabloids. Taboo. Sex is a taboo subject for many people. Tabulate. Officials tabulated the scores. Tack. Carpet tacks. Tackle. A box for fishing tackle. Tacky. The paint is still a little tacky. Tactic. An effective tactic for solving crimes. Tactical. A tactical maneuver procedure. Tag. A dog's identification ID tags. Tail. A monkey with a long tail. Tailor. I had my suit tailored. Tailored. He wore a nicely tailored suit. Taint. The reputation of the university has been tainted by athletic scandals. Take. She took her things to her room. Takeout. We ordered some Chinese takeout. Takeover. The government experienced a military takeover in 2002. Tale. The movie is a stirring tale of courage. Talent. A singer with an enormous amount of talent. Talented. A very highly talented actor, musician, singer, athlete. Talk. She never talks at the meetings. Talkative. Their little boy is very talkative. Tall. All the children in my family grew up to be very tall. Talon. The hog gripped the mouse in its talons. Tame. A tame elephant. Tan. She has a nice tan. Tandem. The team has a tandem of talented guards. Tangible. Tangible benefits results. Tangle. Don't tangle the yarn. Tank. A water oil fuel tank. Tanned. He's tanned and rested after his vacation. Tap. He was tapping the desk with a pencil. Tape. Adhesive packing tape. Tapestry. An ancient medieval tapestry. Tar. Low tar cigarettes. Tardy. Tardy progress. Target. We failed to reach this month's sales targets. Tarnish. Silver tarnishes easily. Tart. An apple tart. Task. A daunting, difficult, impossible task. Taste. The wine had a slightly bitter taste. Tasting. A mini wine tasting. Tasty. That was a very tasty meal. Tattoo. He had a tattoo of the heart on his shoulder. Taunt. The boys continually taunted each other. Tax. The decision was made to cut taxes. Taxable. The sale of wine is taxable in this state. Taxi. We got a taxi to the restaurant. Tea. A cup of tea. Teach. He enjoys teaching his students about history. Teacher. Experience is a good teacher. Teaching. He went into teaching after college. Team. A doubles team in tennis. Teammate. They have been teammates for several years. Teamwork. They credit good teamwork for their success. Tear. He tore the letter in half. Tease. He and his wife enjoy teasing each other about their different tastes in music. Teaspoon. She stirred her coffee with a teaspoon. Technical. Technical training knowledge skills. Technicality. These cases were dropped because of legal technicalities. Technically. The computer took a minute to download the file. Well, technically it took 53 seconds. Technique. We learned some techniques for relieving stress. Technology. Recent advances in medical technology have saved countless lives. Tedious. He made a tedious 45-minute speech. Tea. A batting tea. Teen. He was a teen idol. Teenage. The teenage population. Teenager. Their daughter is a teenager. Teeny. I'll just have a teeny piece of cake. Telegraph. I sent the message by telegraph. Telephone. We spoke by telephone. Telescope. The rings of Saturn can be seen through a telescope. Television. Do you have satellite or cable television? Tell. He told us the story. Telltale. The sauce had the telltale odor of garlic. Telly. Please turn off the telly. Temp. What's the temp outside? Temper. She has a bad, hot, quick, terrible, violent temper. Temperature. The water temperature has risen 2 degrees. Temple. Buddhist, Hindu, Jewish, Mormon temples. Temporal. The temporal and spiritual worlds. Temporarily. The store is temporarily closed for renovations. Temporary. The drug will give you temporary relief from the pain. Tempt. The smell of the pie tempted me, but I resisted. Temptation. She gave in to temptation. Tempting. The desserts look very tempting. 10. The 10 of spades. Tenacity. She fought with great tenacity. Tenant. A tenant is now leasing the apartment. Tend. He tends to slouch. Tendency. The door has a tendency to get stuck. Tender. He gave her a tender look. Tenderly. She will be tenderly cared for. Tend. He tends to slouch. Tendency. The door has a tendency to get stuck. Tender. He gave her a tender look. Tenderly. She will be tenderly cared for. Tenderness. The defendant must tender full payment. Tendril. A few tendrils of hair framed her face. Tennis. A game of tennis. Tenor. He has a high, lilting tenor. Tense. She was feeling pretty tense. Tension. You can see she is just filled with tension about her job. Tent. We will pitch the tent here. Tentative. A tentative smile. 10th. The 10th of February. Term. I had the feeling that I had been there before. The term for that is déjà vu. Terminal. She was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Terminate. The branches of that tree terminate in flower clusters. Terrace. Rice growing in on hillside terraces. Terrain. We had to drive over some rough terrain. Terrible. A terrible disaster crime. Terribly. The movie made me feel terribly sad. Terrific. He makes terrific chili. Terrify. Big dogs terrify me. Terrifying. The thought of dying alone was terrifying. Territory. Those mountains are in Mexican territory. Terror. The sound of guns being fired fills me with terror. Terrorism. They have been arrested for acts of terrorism. Simply. Simply add water to the mix and stir. Simultaneous. The two gunshots were simultaneous. Sin. He committed the sin of stealing. Since. I haven't seen him since yesterday. Sincere. He sounded sincere in his promises. Sincerity. Her apology was spoken with sincerity. Sinew. Cutting through bone and sinew. Sing. She sings in the choir. Singe. The flame singed his hair. Singer. My sister is a pretty good singer. Single. They lost by a single point. Sinister. There was something sinister about him. Sink. The passengers were rescued from the boat before it sank. Sip. She sipped her coffee while she watched the sun rise. Siphon. The water needs to be siphoned from the pool. Sir. May I help you, sir? Sister. My little younger sister. Sit. He was sitting in a chair next to the window. Site. Hard hats must be worn on the construction site.